The Holiday Bowl is suing the Pac-12 and the UC Board of Regents because UCLA pulled out of the Holiday Bowl during or after the 2021 college football season. And it was because of COVID, and they didn't have enough position players at certain points and whatever else, right? By the way, go ahead and like the video for me if you could so kindly. We would certainly appreciate that. But let's pull this thing up on your screen so we can take a look at it. This is over at on3.com. It's by Eric Prisbell, and the question that is the headline here is, why is the Holiday Bowl suing Pac-12 UC Regents for $3 million in damages? So you go through and you see the lawsuit was filed on Tuesday evening against the Pac-12 and the Regents of the University of California, which governs UCLA, and it seeks more than $3 million in damages stemming from the Bruins pulling out the day of the game. They were supposed to play NC State. A couple of hours before that game happened, they decided they were not going to play. So it says, even though the relationship between the Holiday Bowl and the Pac-12 dates to the late 1990s, the two parties failed to resolve the situation over the past 17 plus months. It says that the Pac-12 tried to resolve the situation through mediation, but you keep scrolling through this, and it's interesting. The Holiday Bowl says that the last-minute cancellation, it ended up with $7.8 million in revenue lost, or more than that. And the way that breaks down is SDBGA had to forfeit ticket revenue of more than $3.6 million, a loss of $1.4 million in revenue from title sponsorship San Diego County Credit Union, and more than $2.8 million that had to be returned or forfeited from additional ticket, media rights, partner, and sponsor-related revenue, the complaint claims. It also said it incurred substantial expenditures from preparing for the game, including costs to secure and transform Petco Park into a football stadium, which went unreimbursed. Now, the Pac-12 said that they were trying to find a amicable and fair resolution, and they're saying that, hey, there was nothing we could do about this, and that in the contract, it has, a thing that would work for that. Now, what I did not know is this: the Holiday Bowl has not paid the Pac-12 the $2.45 million it owes for Oregon's participation in the 2022 Holiday Bowl. SDBGA said that the $2.45 million would be applied toward damages for the cancellation of the 2021 bowl game. So the Pac-12 is just going through it right now. Like they already got a distribution partner that, overpaid in Comcast. So they're having to pay them back. That's coming out of their stuff. They're not getting paid this money from their bowl appearance last year, because that $2.45 million doesn't just go to Oregon. It goes to the conference to then be distributed out to all of the other members. So there are some people that are just dealing with it right now. It says that the amount would be applied against the more than $3 million in damages owed for the breach of contract and failure to indemnify SDBGA due to UCLA's refusal to play in the 2021 Holiday Bowl game. It said this offset was fair, just, and equitable, but has not fully compensated them for their losses, the unpaid balance of which continues to accrue pre-judgment interest. Now, it says that the contract language was a point of contention. Now, this is a great article, by the way, over at On3. I highly recommend that you go and check it out. It says that the central point of contention is the application of the force majeure provision in the most recent contract. Basically, it was an act of God, right? There was nothing that could have been done. UCLA had so many COVID cases that they couldn't have played. In my opinion, I think you just roll out there and play with whatever you got. I don't think you have to have a certain number of defensive linemen. I think you can line some of those guys up on the line of scrimmage between the hashes, and you can find a way to make it. Yeah, go out and play 7-on-7. Go out and do whatever. You can find ways to play. It didn't matter how many players you've got. Just go out and try something. It really doesn't matter. You don't need a certain number of offensive linemen, defensive line, whatever, because if you're a problem solver, it shouldn't matter. You should be able to come up with anything. So the SDBGA said it's informed the Pac-12 that it disputes the applicability of the provision. The clause that the complaint said could have been negotiated in 2019 to, quote, included pandemic impacts and considerations, but was not. As other courts around the country consistently have found, force majeure clauses are interpreted narrowly according to their words, such that the Pac-12 is not relieved of its contractual obligations under the express language of the 2019 contract. There was the 2020 season? I guess it was, when Boise State and Boston College were supposed to play in some bowl game down in Texas, maybe the Heart of Dallas Bowl or something like that. But they were supposed to play, and it was weather. Insurance paid out on weather. You can't get an insurance payout on this. UCLA still had enough players to play. They just decided that they weren't going to. So in this situation, the Pac-12 and the UC Regents are probably going to owe that money. I feel like this was really crap for UCLA to leave the Pac-12 with this, and then decide to go to, the Big Ten. I hate it. But the way that the contract is written, I don't know that there's a way that they can get out of this thing. Pac-12 just dealing with it, man. Just dealing with it. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Make sure and follow me on Twitter @GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me Gary@winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.